Before I start this video, I would like to give a disclaimer. If you're specifically looking for artifact fodder rout, then this video is not for you. There are already a good number of videos covering that. I could link you to one of those videos in the description. This video is more into how much more an artifact EXP you could get from farming them and the properties of artifact spots. With that out of the way, let's begin. You know, when you're exploring the map, oftentimes you'll find a seemingly random spot with this thing, and when you get close to it, there's a prompt to investigate that spot. When you investigate it, various things could happen, from finding ore, mora, food, energy particle, artifact, to being ambushed by fungi. Well, this is what we're talking about today, which is artifact fodder. First, let's talk about the investigable spots themselves. They can be classified into two types. The former are the spots which don't respawn, while the latter ones respawn every 24 hours in real life. Here is an example of the former. This place is accessible after finishing a world quest involving Jet. There used to be 4 investigable spots. The second type has this unique property, which is the same spot will give the same kind of loot. For example, a spot which gives you food will always give you food, albeit not the exact same food. This means that if we could memorize every single artifact spot in the VAT, we could get possibly hundreds of thousands of artifact EXP. As much as I wish this was the case, unfortunately it isn't. The game limits you to investigate 100 spots every daily reset. After this number is reached, the game prevents you from investigating more spots. Even the small shiny thing doesn't appear. Since we're limited to 100 spots every day, let's just go for it and see how much profit we could get. Every artifact fodder spot can give anywhere from 1 1-star artifact, 2 1-star artifacts, or 1 2-star artifact. The odds of getting each of them don't seem to be equal. From my observation of over 1000 days of collecting artifact fodder, I've never seen a case where any of these spots in Dragonspine gives 2 1-star artifacts. Yes, I still go to Dragonspine daily. Well, almost. Besides giving artifacts, some of these spots also give the player mora. Either 0 mora, 100, 200, or 300. Similar to the ones in Dragonspine, I suspect the same thing also applies to mora. Further observation is required. I did the experiment by first clearing the enemies nearby so they don't interfere. Second, I delete all 1 and 2-star artifacts. Next, I took note of how much mora I had and started collecting artifacts and count how many spots I'd investigated. I kept doing this until I reached 100 spots, and then I took note of how much mora I had. Finally, I deleted all 1 and 2-star artifacts I got and took note again of my mora. I did this every day at the exact same spots for 10 days, and then I made them into table. Here you can see from this small experiment, on average we get 9,650 gold and 60,774 artifact EXP. This is pretty good, because when you convert them into mora, you basically get 320 resins every day. Those numbers look pretty impressive. However, we can make them better. Remember what I told you about the game limiting you to investigating 100 spots every day? There is a way to exploit it. Basically, how it works is after you've reached 100 spots, the game will stop spawning more investigable spots for you. However, spots which have already appeared prior to 100 spots mark will not despawn until you leave the area or log out of the game. Unfortunately, the distance until the game considers you as leaving the area is not known. Here is a demonstration of it. You can see these 2 spots here. Now, if I go somewhere else and investigate another spot, if I do that and then return to the first spot, you can see here that the 2 spots despawn. This means we could go collect artifacts until we hit 99 spots and then go to a location where there's tons of artifact spots. For the latter, it would be the Serai Maru. This broken ship in Serai Island has 17 respawnable artifact spots, which means we could get up to 116 artifact spots daily. Doing the same thing as previous one, you can see here that on average we could get 9,370 mora and 70,602 artifact EXP every day. Let's go even higher than that. When Sumeru was released, it also came with its own respawnable artifact spots. One such location is the underground part of the mausoleum in the version 3.1 area. It features an impressive 25 artifact spots, which allows the player to investigate 124 spots daily. I did the same procedures as the previous two routes, and we can see here that on average we get 7,970 Mora and 72,996 artifact EXP. It seems that we're getting considerably fewer Mora than our two previous routes, which confirms my suspicion of artifact spots having different probability of giving Mora. I will now pause this video to make a revision. Apparently, I missed 3 additional spots in the mausoleum. These spots, however, will despawn if you go right first and then go down. You can see here, this room has 3 spots which give artifact fodder. Now, if I go back and then go down here to take artifact fodder, when I go back to the previous spot, you can see that the 3 spots are no longer interactable. All other spots, fortunately, can still be harvested. Second, there's a better spot than the Serai Maru, which is Tatarasuna. This place has 21 artifact spots instead of 17. Third of all, I haven't done any research about artifact fodder in Fontaine. There's a good chance the new region has a place for farming artifact fodder. Keep this in mind. Now back to the video. Since these spots reappear once every 24 hours in real life, it will be annoying if we were to keep track of when did we start farming them. As such, we can instead farm the 128 spots route on one day, and then farm the 120 spots route the other day, and alternate between these twos. This means we are required to memorize 248 artifact spots in order to be no longer constrained by time. Remember in the earlier part of this video when I told you that these spots respawn every 24 hours in real life? Well, dear viewer, I lied. There are actually some investigable spots which respawn earlier than 24 hours. I found a substantial number of spots which fulfill this criterion, which are 45 spots as of now. I am sure there are still more spots which respawn earlier than 24 hours. To be fair, I've been aware of this anomaly before Inazuma even came out. As for why these spots do the way they are, the answer to that confounding question is, I have absolutely no idea why. From my perspective, it seems that the developer assigned an arbitrary duration for how long will it take for them to respawn. Now, about how long do they take to respawn? From my testing, most of them spawn every 12 hours in real life. However, I find some of them which don't follow this. These 8 spots in Sumeru respawn after 10 hours. This spot in Rito also respawns after 10 hours. These 4 spots in Old Vanarana don't respawn after 14 hours, but they definitely respawn in less than 24 hours. Maybe it's not that they respawn after a fixed amount of time in real life. Maybe it's that they respawn every specific server time, for example, the server daily reset. Anyway, this means we could farm these 45 spots every day and then farm other spots until we hit 99, and then go to the mausoleum and claim the remaining 28, and then repeat the same but for Tatarasuna on the next day. This means we only need to memorize 202 spots. If we could find 99 spots which don't follow the 24-hour rule, then theoretically we only need to remember 148 spots. For what routes you should do to farm them, I recommend not to copy my routes exactly, because they are poorly optimized. I recommend you to make your own route based on what I found from this research. There are links to artifact route video in the description if you're interested. I would also recommend places that are easy to access and have small room for error. As for what teams to use to farm these fodders, use 2 Anemo characters to get the Anemo resonance. Someone like Sayu with Sacrificial Greatsword is good since you can hold the elemental skill twice in a row. Kaya is also a good option since as of version 4.3, he is the only tall male character whose talent gives you a stamina consumption reduction for sprinting. Wanderer with Lost Prayer is a strong option since there are some places you can bypass with his elemental skill. Rosaria and Dea's passive is good, provided you adjust the time of the day to proc them. Yalan is also good because of her elemental skill. Use Sacrificial Bow if you have to. Using Red Feather Fan or Foot Buff can also help. I might have missed some characters, but you get the point. Other than investigation spot, there's a way to get even more artifact fodder. When you go exploring the desert part of Sumeru, oftentimes you see this rolling ball thing across the map. These things are called tumbleweed. When destroyed, it has a chance to drop artifact fodder, albeit low. You can technically get as much as you want, though I wouldn't recommend farming from it. I know this video is far from perfect. I wish there was more I could have done. However, this research is already consuming too much time due to the time-gated nature of investigable spots. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.